Okay, so recently I purchased a 3D printer with my son, and we started printing up odds and ends. You make up all kinds of cool little things with a 3D printer. But I also found that there are a lot of things that I can do in woodworking with the 3D printer. And one of the things I found online was that you can create pen blank molds. Now, the nice thing about these molds, unlike, as compared to this mold here, these molds you can create a design on the inside. And give you a nice little close up there of that. And you can create a design, different designs, so that when you pour in the resin and you turn it, the actual filament becomes part of the design. So with the filament part of the design, you create that whatever image you have, you create it inside the pen. So I made 4 of them here. These 2 are the same because they're smaller ones, so they're going to be used for top and bottom of a pen. This one's a little bit longer, so I'll use it on a single turning of a pen, one that only requires 1 piece instead of 2. This one's extra long, so I'm not sure what I'm going to use this one on. And this one is a good, nice length too, but I love the design in this one. This one really has a very cool design to it. So my first thing is to mix up a bunch of different epoxy, and then I'm going to go ahead and use different colors. Now I have a true red here, I have a green pearl, I have a copper, I have a dark purple, I have a silver there. And I think I'm just looking at that. I think I'm going to throw out the dark purple and put in a blue pearl. So I think I'll put that in there. So those are the colors I'm going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up. Now first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of the coloring in these smaller containers here. Oh man, that powder just took off all over the place. Whoops. That may be a little bit too much. There we go. I like to mix my colors, put them at the bottom of the container, and then mix it up rather than throw it on the top. It seems like it mixes a little better, and you don't have as much powder fly away like I just had here. In case you wonder what brand of epoxy I'm using, this one here is from the epoxy store. At the time that I purchased it, it was on Amazon, and it was the actually the cheapest epoxy on there for the gallon. I think it was like 45, 50 bucks maybe a gallon. And it was really, really cheap. So one of the reasons that I thought I'd try it. Let's see, it's the epoxy resin store is what it's called. And then I found out the store actually is not too far from my location, so I ended up getting it like the next day, which was pretty nice. It said 5-6 day shipping, but it actually came the next day. Now if you don't have a pressure pot, you want to stir gently. If you do have a pressure pot, you still don't want to go crazy on the stirring, but you don't have to worry about it as much, about getting air bubbles in there. Now, the thing I like about the epoxy store resin, or the epoxy resin store, I keep getting it backwards, is that it doesn't get hot like a lot of other resins do. Even on deep pours, I'm really surprised at how deep I can pour and not get cracks in it. So that is a big plus. And it's just a casting resin, just a super gloss clear casting resin, and mixed by volume. So you don't use weight, and it's just 1-to-1 mixture. So I may have to make up some more, or I'll just stop with whatever I end up with. We'll see how it works. Now some guys, they do the mathematical figuring on what how much they should put in there and get it precise, and I just sort of guess. But as you can see, if you put the powder on the bottom, you tend to mix up. I think it mixes it better, and maybe I'm just fooling myself. But when you put it on top, you get powder along the edges, and it's kind of hard to get that back into the resin. So I like to drop the powder in first and then pour the resin on top of it. I'll put a link for these pipettes down at the bottom. I get them off of Amazon, and I bought a large supply of these things. So now we're all set to go into the pressure pot. I'll put them in, and we'll be taking them out tomorrow morning. You'll see that like right away. Okay, so it's the next day, and time to open this up, see what they look like. Always fun looking into the pot here. All right, so this one had a little bit on the bottom there, so it stuck to the wax paper. Always a good idea to put wax paper in the bottom for this kind of stuff. But these two look pretty awesome. So I think these are going to be a nice pen with a top and bottom. So this one is going to be quite unique, I think. We'll see. And then we have the bottom looks really good on this one. Has the different color octagon or hexagons. Hexagons, yes. And the top. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pen comes out in particular. So yeah, can't wait. Let's get them drilled and centered and ready for some pen blanks. Okay, so I have to say 3D printing pen blanks is quite unique and very interesting and fun to do. I have finished the 3 pens that I worked on. Now, this one here I had a lot of hope for. This had a very intricate design in it. And unfortunately, I did it in black, and I probably should have done it in white or silver or a gold maybe, because the black just sort of blends in with that fire red there. And so it doesn't really show up that well on it. But I'm definitely going to redo it. I mean, the design itself is just really cool. And the pen itself comes out looking good. It's still a good looking pen, but it just doesn't have the contrast to set it off, or the contrast that I like to have set it off. Now, on the other hand, the Dragon pen that I did the octagons with this, and or hexagons, I should say, 6-sided. And they come out looking like scales, and with the red and the green and the gold in there, that really came out nice. Now, I did get some 6 new colors from Jewel Essence, and I do have some new gold and some silver and some other brighter colors. So I think if I redid this one, I would probably print it instead of black, and I printed all of them in black, by the way. Instead of black, I think I'd print this in gold or white. I think would separate it, but I think gold would really separate it well. So I'm gonna do another pen in gold with this. But it still looks, I think it looks awesome. But the big winner today out of all of them is this Cuban pen here. And this one, the black sets off really well against the white or the lighter colors, especially the gold and the light green and the white. And I do have some of the red in there, some of the rust red. But yeah, that one sets off really, really nice and really makes for a good looking pen. I'm really happy with this one. This one really is a unique looking pen. So as far as printing with 3D or with 3D printer and printing these pen blanks, it really opens it up because you can create all kinds of designs, and you can go from very complicated designs to not so complicated designs. And so I think that's kind of cool. And the way that they look when they're finished, it really does add to it. So one thing I did find out is that when you're putting a finish on, when you're doing any type of heat finish, like I use the paste, the different pastes, the polishing paste and the sanding paste for Mac, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on it because it tends to melt that plastic. and then it sort of streaks it. So you just want to make sure that whatever finish you use on it, you don't want to heat it up too much. But because the plastic, I think in the printer itself is like 200 degrees and it's melted. So, but yeah, I mean, this one, I'm very happy with this one, very, very happy with this one. And I love the design of this one. It's just not set off. When you have it underneath bright light, it looks good. But overall, I think this has really been kind of cool to do. And I'm already back at the printer, printing up some new ones with the different colors that I had said. And I'll do individual videos on each of these type of pens with them. But overall, I like the effect. I think it's a good experiment. And if you're in the market for a 3D printer and you're looking for some way to use it in the shop, this is one way. I actually have started printing some containers for my parts box, which you'll see a video on that pretty soon too. It's going to take a little while to print all the containers that I need, but I have a whole cabinet drawer over there I did with the Rockler stand and tabletop, and that's would be right up here if you want to watch that one on how I created or made that to fit inside the Rockler stand. And I think that's gonna, once I get those drawer separations in there, that really was my major problem, was just setting up some type of drawer separation, which I did with wood and some old plastic boxes that I had a ton of them. And I think that worked well. But this is going to look so much nicer and be finished much better. So stay tuned for that. Please do subscribe so you can watch that when it does come out. I appreciate you watching this long in the video. Please give it a like and do subscribe and leave any comments that you want. I'll be more than happy to answer whatever I can answer. And I do appreciate everybody who has commented in the past. I always enjoy hearing from all of you. So hopefully you'll be around for the next video. Thanks for watching this one.